very much. Joining me today is Sharmistha Mukherjee, a daughter of former President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, and a man who's held several positions as ministers in union cabinets of the Congress governments. Thank you very much, Sharmistha Mukherjee, for joining me. First up, I want to ask you, the whole controversy around the last rites of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh seems to have somewhere sullied the send-off this country deserved to give to a man who has contributed so much to the country. Do you believe this was an avoidable controversy?
So at the very onset, let me say that Dr. Manmohan Singh was an extremely distinguished leader, one of the greatest sons of the soil, and I really kind of totally understand the demand for his memorial, and I don't have any objection to it. On the contrary, I have tweeted, which did not get much publicity, for whatever reason. I had tweeted he not only deserves a memorial, but he also deserves a Bharat Ratna, which my father in 2013, he wanted to bestow on him. So this has got nothing to do with Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, because he is one of the greatest architect of the post-independent India. You know, he is the architect of the growth story of India. So there is nothing to do with him. I tweeted in context of a tweet made by BJP spokesperson who was earlier in Congress, C.R. Kesavan, where he pointed out that how Congress High Command dealt with P.V. Narasimha Rao ji, who was again a Congress president and also Congress Prime Minister and a Congress president, how he was humiliated. His body was not even allowed to come inside AICC. His funeral, I mean, his family wanted to hold his funeral in Delhi, but they were asked to do it in his home state of then Andhra Pradesh, now Telangana. So I tweeted in context of that. So that saying that even Congress did not even hold a condolence meeting by CWC. And they did not pass any formal condolence message by CWC. To be honest, Sonia Gandhi ji wrote me a very nice, heartwarming, heart-touching personal letter. But a personal letter and a personal condolences by several leaders, it is different from a institutional condolence message. And that is expected from a grand old party like Indian National Congress. So I was a little surprised that why wasn't it being held, and I inquired from a few leaders, and one of them said that they don't, CWC don't do it for the president, doesn't do it for the presidents. So at that time I was also, of course, totally overwhelmed with my own personal grief. But later, much later, and when I started reading my father's diaries, because I was researching on a book based on his diaries, then I came across one entry where I learned that when President K.R. Narayanan passed away, CWC held a condolence meeting and the condolence message was drafted by my father only. So I was a bit shocked that, you know, why this happened, why CWC did not condole my father's death formally, and you know, and considering the fact my father was president for 5 years, but before that for 45 years he was a very senior leader of Congress. For almost 30 years he was associated with CWC. So I think I was very, very hurt, and when I read Mr. Kesavan's tweet, that hurt came into surface and I tweeted this. So it has got nothing to do with this whole memorial controversy of Dr. Manmohan Singh, which I personally believe and I firmly believe that yes, he deserves a memorial, he deserves Bharat Ratna.
Sharmishta, I completely understand where you're coming from. But did you, when you read his diary, did you contact any of the senior leaders at that time that hey, there is precedence and the facts that were being put on the table are different? Did you ever speak with Sonia Gandhi ji or Rahul Gandhi ji after that point? Did you ever raise this issue?
No, because by then I had already quit politics, and I really did not have hardly any contact with any of the Congress leaders, and I did not. And I was too engrossed in writing my book, and maybe, because my book ends with just a mention of my father's passing away. I did not write anything that what had happened after that, because that was not in the structure, that was not in the theme of the book. So, but yes, it was a personal grief, and it would have remained a personal grief and maybe some kind of grievance against Congress. But because it just came out, and I did it. I did it, and I also felt that, this should be brought in public domain. That,
Why do you think,
after
why do you
passing
think
away of
Congress
Pranab Mukherjee,
did not institutionally condole the passing away of former President Pranab Mukherjee? You would know internally, your father would have shared with you his trials and tribulations with the party. Do you have a sense of why they didn't do this?
Navika ji, I really will not be able to answer this question, because this question should be answered by Congress only. But I don't know whether it was done deliberately, or I don't know whether it was just out of sheer negligence, sheer lethargy, and also a loss of institutional memory. Within a Congress party, perhaps the leaders at the helm at that time, people around Rahul Gandhi, they did not have any institutional memory or knowledge of how things were done, what are the norms and conventions and traditions of the grand old party. If that is the situation, if whether it was done deliberately or because of loss of institutional memory, in either case, I think it is quite a sad state of situation within Congress.
Well, you put it very concisely, but you just mentioned that in 2013, President Pranab Mukherjee wanted to confer Bharat Ratna on Dr. Manmohan Singh. Did he propose this to the government at the time? Was there a discussion?
I will tell you exactly what I read in his diaries. There was only one entry on 2013, 30th October. So he wrote that he felt that, Dr. Manmohan Singh should be conferred Bharat Ratna, and he wrote the reasons for it, that, how he led India through economic crisis of that time, and, how he steered Indian economy, how his stellar contributions. And then one line he wrote that he talked to the cabinet secretary of that time to talk to Pulak Chatterjee to ascertain the views of Sonia Gandhi. So that is it. There was no further reference of it in the diary. So I really do not know what happened, why there was no further discussion, whether Pulak Chatterjee mentioned it to Sonia Gandhi. If he did mention it to Sonia Gandhi, then what was her response? Why it wasn't, why did it happen? I do not know, because there is no further reference.
Many people would have thought that Pranab Mukherjee...
obviously,
many people would have thought that Mr. Pranab Mukherjee would not have been very fond of Dr. Manmohan Singh, because in 2004, everybody expected that when Sonia Gandhi declined to be the Prime Minister, it would be Pranab Mukherjee, because he was the most experienced congressman at that time and a politician to the core, and had run various important ministries. Him suggesting a Bharat Ratna and then it not going through, many people would find it strange, don't you think, Sharmistha ji?
No, if those many people think it's strange, they obviously do not know either Pranab Mukherjee or Dr. Manmohan Singh. And I have dealt it in detail in my book. I have also seen, I think their relationship was based on tremendous mutual respect. And it started from 1970s. Not too many people know that. I think Dr. Manmohan Singh was economic advisor to Indira Gandhi. And then later on in 1984, I think, or before that, he became the, when my father was the finance minister, he became the Reserve Bank governor. In Narsimha Raoji's cabinet, they were together. So, it is a long association of 5 decades. And my father, whenever he had any discussion about Dr. Manmohan Singh with me, it will always begin or end with one statement that he is a true gentleman. So, there was this immense respect, and I have seen a couple of times them together. Even after my father's retirement, Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mrs. Gursharan Kaur came for lunch to my place, and they also came to invite Baba for their granddaughter's wedding. And so there was this tremendous bond. And I would like to say in 2014, when Dr. Manmohan Singh came to resign as Prime Minister, because the Congress lost very badly, as we know. And my father, that time he was the president, but he broke all the protocol and he actually went to the car to see off Dr. Manmohan Singh. And that night he wrote in his diary that my 5 decades long working relationship with Dr. Manmohan Singh comes to an end today. Farewells are always very, very sad. And even after that, when my father's book, one book called Coalition Years, was launched in his post-presidential years, Dr. Manmohan Singh was there, and he profusely praised Baba, saying, imagine the grace, imagine his grace, saying that Mr. Mukherjee should have been the Prime Minister, but of course he also knew that I did not have any choice in the matter, and the audience burst out laughing, including Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, who were present in the audience. And that night, Baba was, happy like a child. He kept on saying that what a gracious gentleman this person is. So there was this long relationship. And, one thing my father always used to say that, you do not need to necessarily agree on everything every time. Over this process of this very long relationship and in working under such high stress situation, there are bound to be differences on many issues. But the most important thing that, they knew how to handle those differences, and it never ever marred their, personal equation, which was based on tremendous mutual respect.
What about the influence or impact of the role of the Gandhi family on both Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Pranab Mukherjee? Anything that you picked up from your conversations?
Well, one of the members of Gandhi family, Srimati Indira Gandhi, my father always maintained throughout his life, even after his post-retirement age, he always kept on saying that whatever he was, it was all thanks to Mrs. Indira Gandhi. She picked him up out of oblivion. She trained him. She polished him to become one of the most astute politicians of his time. And my father had always mentioned that, whatever he is, he was, my father's personal loyalty towards any political leader began and ended with Srimati Indira Gandhi. He was like his ardent admirer, and he stood with her through thick and thin. Even in a post-emergency elections, when Congress was totally wiped out from North, and there was a lot of witch hunting against Indira ji and people associated with him because of the post-emergency situation during the Janta government, my father was one of the very few congressmen who actually stood with him, and then they formed Congress I, and then the rest is history. So my father's very strong association with Gandhi family has always been there. During Rajiv Gandhi's time, there was a short fallout for various reasons, which my father wrote in his book. But again, he was back in Congress fold while Rajiv Gandhi was there, and he was becoming very close to him. With Sonia Gandhi, he had a very good working relationship, and Sonia Gandhi might not have made him the prime minister, but he gave him immense, responsibility, very key portfolios, and throughout his diaries, I felt that, she really trusted him. There were, again, as I say, there would be differences. There would be differences, that is normal. But between these three people, and I have seen Sonia ji, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and my father, there was this tremendous understanding, and as I say, they knew how to handle the differences. So there is nothing wrong in having differences, and again, it's bound to happen, especially when you are working under such stressful conditions. But the most important thing that, they knew how to handle the differences.
Today, after all the issues that the Congress has picked up about the fact that the funeral was not done with dignity, grace, Nigambodh Ghat, not enough cameras, not enough crowds being allowed, all of these charges have been made. Today, the BJP comes back and says that when it was time to collect the ashes and take them to the holy river, not one person from the Congress was present. What would you say about that?
If this is true, Navika ji, if this is true, it is utterly shocking and disgusting. And perhaps this shows that what is wrong with today's Congress. It is totally disgusting that, nobody was present during the Asthi collecting ceremony. And this is unpardonable, and that shows that, Congress, the grand old party, is today's Congress. I would like to instead of calling it Indian National Congress, I would like to call it perhaps Rahul Congress. Rahul Gandhi and his associates and the people who are running Congress, they do not understand the Congress values. Perhaps they want to politicize everything, including the death and dignity of one of the most stalwart leaders of Congress, like and one of the most dignified person like Dr. Manmohan Singh. Perhaps they are politicizing it. So this whole Congress culture, which has denigrated, there is a rot within the Congress that in today's context, under the leadership of the current dispensation, this whole rot in the Congress, I think this is totally disgusting. And also I would just like to say today also I am a hardcore believer in Congress ideology. I quit politics in 2021. I did not join any other political party, including BJP, not because of anything, not because of due to lack of offers, because I did not want to. I didn't want to do anything with politics. But why a die-hard Congress person like me today feel alienated from today's Congress? I think this is something seriously the Congress should introspect, and rather than giving bombastic statements and always indulging in blame games, they should seriously introspect that what is the problem, what is the problem at the heart, at the core of the party, which is just pushing people away and which has reduced them to this state.
Do you feel anger towards Rahul Gandhi?
It's not anger, but it's disappointment, it's frustration. It's like banging your head against the wall. It's sad. I feel sad. I really feel sad.
Do you think
that what he has been instrumental, in reducing the grand old party to?
Well, Sharmistha Mukherjee, for speaking from your heart, for putting things in perspective. Thank you so very much for joining me here on Times Now.